What's up, everyone? I'm CEO Connolly, and today I wanted to talk about how my writing has evolved from my first book to my recent books. So, when I first started the very first book, which is Forbidden Affair, I have a book before that, but I edited it so much that I started to hate it, and it now sits in the back of my file cabinet. I will never look at it again. But so when I wrote Forbidden Affair, I wrote that book and I realized, because the first one was so bad. It wasn't that bad when I first started, but because I had gone through it so many times, it's like reading a book over and over and over again until you absolutely hate the thing. And this is the reason why I now have the schedule that I do with the way that I do my books. And it's specifically so I won't only focus on one book at a time until I hate it, if that makes sense. I want to make sure that what I'm writing is something I'm very proud of. And, you know, I send it off to my readers at the best point, if that makes sense. So anyway, I have to say that my very first book was very mild. It was very mild. There was some scenes in there that were kind of graphic, you know, just slightly. But if you go through the Affair series, like from Forbidden Affair to Fruitful Affair, you can see it gets a little bit more gory. Let me put it that way. Yes, that's exactly how that goes. And even in Friendly Misfortunes, so with Friendly Misfortunes, it's kind of mild. It's a little mild. And then you've got Killer Suburbia, and it's like, wow. But I love that. I wanted to get a little bit more gory, but you know, in the beginning it was more like, oh my God, my parents are going to read this. Do I want them to think that I'm going to murder them? You know, kind of a thing. Like, do they need to worry about me? So at first it was more like, I'm going to hold back just a little bit until I see how this goes. And then I was like, you know what? Screw holding back. I'm going to get gross. And dismemberment, disemboweling, and all kinds of just brain matter and all kinds of things. So yes, I have gone from being a little mild with my horror into being extremely graphic and very descriptive. And the way that I could explain it would be something like, you know, reading a romance book and having that, oh, we were kissing, blah, 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 fade to black. And then it's just implied that they did stuff with each other. Whereas like the erotica romance, where it's like, oh, he touched this, oh, he touched this, oh, he touched this. And then it's like, wow, how many times can you say that word, you know, in different forms? So basically that's what it is. It started out as like the fade to black with the implied murder. And now it's like, you know, put in the knife, cut, you know, intestines spilling all over the place, kind of thing, you know, you know. So yeah, I'm going to put it this way. I believe that Friendly Misfortunes and my Affair series could be read by a child between the ages of 10 and 15. Let's do 10 and 13. I think some of the kids that are a little older could, you know, or that are still kind of young can actually, you know, read this other stuff. So between 10 and 13. It's implied, especially if they like true crime, you know, stuff like that. Okay. They're all fiction, not really true crime. But I'm just saying, if they like the true crime kind of aspect, because they're kind of mild on true crime and stuff like that. But by the time you get to Killer Suburbia and my cult series and everything after that, because the other 5 books that I've written plus everything after that is going to be very, very graphic. It's not splatterpunk graphic, but it's, you know, it's there. So I would say at least wait until your kids are 14 and older to go on to. There's some of them where it's like, maybe 16. I think my mom has said that some of them are not. Because she's done that where, parents come up and they're all like, oh, are your books kid friendly? And I'm all like, well, for me, yeah. I mean, when I was 12 and 13 years old, I was checking out the books in the library that were about, Ted Bundy and stuff like that. So I used to read Christopher Pike, and my mom did not like that. When I was like, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, my mom was like, no, you're not reading that stuff. But Christopher Pike was amazing to me. I mean, I loved Christopher Pike books. But my mom was like, no, you can't read that stuff. That's not for children. So for me, I don't care. I mean, I'd be like, hell yeah. Because my son was 9 when he saw Idle Hands. And it was only because I was like, no, I'm sorry, he was 6. He was 6 when he saw Idle Hands. It was 9 before I let him watch another movie, because then he started blaming his evil hand on everything bad he did. But that's okay. And plus he kept saying he was having nightmares about the hand coming to get him, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Anyway, so for me, I'd be like, 10 is great. My mom's like, how old is your child? That's where she's, the parent type, where she's like, I don't know. Probably not. But I think that, Friendly Misfortunes is just fine. I think it is. My kid sat around and read my books when he was a kid, but, I also used to lecture him whenever he'd go out with his friends, and I'd go right up, especially when they were in high school. Nobody gets left alone. Everyone needs to have a buddy. You don't go off that way by yourself. You don't go off that way by yourself. You don't talk to strangers. You don't take candy from strangers, and do not get into any stranger's vehicle. The end. That was just me, because I just assume everybody's out there to, don't trust anybody. Your neighbor over there that's like the nice guy, yeah, he's probably got bodies buried in his backyard. I mean, I'm just saying. So anyway, my writing has evolved from being very tame, from what I was writing in my 20s, to being extremely gore. I call all of my books slashers. That's exactly what I call them. All of my books are slashers. That's what I'm looking for. Now, it's similar to, say, like my Affair series is like the first 3 Scream movies. I mean, it's got some blood in it, but it's not really all that gory, right? Yeah, people died, whatever. I could even say even all 6 of the Scream movies, because they're not that gory. But then you get like Halloween or Friday the 13th with Jason, where he, cuts off the arm and there's blood squirting everywhere, blah, 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 blah. I can't compare to Terrifier, but that's only because Terrifier is absolutely amazing, by the way. If you haven't seen Terrifier, please do. But their gore is on a whole other level than what I've got, if that makes sense. Their gore is a little different. I can attempt to, mimic it, but when you're trying to do it with words compared to a movie, it's totally different. Like, I'm willing to guarantee that the books that I have, if they were to be put into a movie, it'd be all kinds of gore, and that's what I'm looking for. But in the book form, in the word form, you actually have to be able to picture what's happening to be like, oh, that's gross. So that's just how that works out. That's how I see it. I think that if you were able to picture it or whatever, then yes, it's going to be that gore-esque type thing. But if you can't actually see it, like in a movie, then it's going to be a little less like, okay, well, because it's just words, if that makes sense. But I will say that my writing has evolved from being kind of, fade to black, closed door, implied murder, to where it is outright in front of everyone. People are getting squirted, covered in it, drip, 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 kind of thing. So yeah, if that's your thing. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not splatterpunk. I like to say that what I do is basically slasher. because I like slasher movies. I think they're funny. I'm not really into zombies. Maybe if I'm watching Shaun of the Dead, I'll watch zombies because I think that's funny. I've never really been into like, what am I thinking of? Oh my gosh, that one TV show that everybody loved that had all the zombies and stuff like that. I've never really been into that. I think we have like the first season just to try it, and I was just like, okay. The storyline's fine, but I really don't care for zombies because first of all, show me. That includes like vampires. Yeah, I'll watch vampire movies. I got no problem watching vampire movies. From dusk till dawn. I got no problem watching vampire movies. That's fine. But True Blood. I watched all of True Blood, the entire thing. Great, but show me. It's the same thing with ghosts. Okay, where? Werewolves? Where? The monster thing doesn't scare me. That's nothing. People scare me. I believe that everyone's against everyone. So yeah, that's my whole thing. If I'm pumping gas and I'm alone, I'm very aware of my surroundings because that is what I write about. There are real people out there that are a real danger to others. It's more of, hello, are you not aware of this? So that's where my books stem from. They're slashers. They are actual people who are out there. I mean, I get the whole, Leatherface isn't a real guy. Actually, Ed Gein, but that's something else. And then, Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and stuff like that. They're supernatural serial killers. Okay, fine. I get that. But it's still a guy. I have a mask of Jason on one of the trees in my woods. So whenever you drive up, it looks like Jason is staring at you from the woods. It's creepy and I love it. I don't know if the video is here on YouTube, but I know it's on TikTok. I think I put it on YouTube, or not YouTube, Instagram. I think I put it on Instagram too. So there's that. You see my husband actually putting them on the tree. Anyway, so the slasher thing that I can do. The monster thing, monsters don't scare me. They're not real. I've never actually seen one. Show me. Even ghosts. I've never seen a ghost. I've never been haunted. I have a ghost talker app thing on my phone. I play with it sometimes, but do I really think I'm talking to ghosts? Nope. Show me. Show me a real haunting. Not a video of something that somebody took where it was like, oh my God, but you can't see the wires where they pulled it or, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, that stuff can be faked. Camera tricks can be faked. I've seen enough movies to know camera tricks can be faked. So, yeah. My whole thing is it stems from reality, I guess you could say. My books are getting closer and closer to reality. And it's kind of scary if you think about it. And next year, as a matter of fact, yeah, way next year, once my cult series is completely out, I will talk about the underlying story of my cult series, just like I did with all of the other books. And you will see how reality, kind of hits you right in the gut. And then it's like, damn, okay. So anyway, yep, it's basically gone from being very mild to being very, very, So that's my thing. If you're looking at getting books for your kids and you're thinking that my books would be great to get them into the, horror genre or whatever, my Affair series and Friendly Misfortunes are probably the best ones to start with because those are a little more mild. Killer Suburbia has some things in there that are a little extra. And then my cult series, number one, it hits really close to home once you understand what's in it. And then secondly, it's very graphic and I love it. But anyway, yep, that's it. That's all I got.